Well, hi, this is Jim Peacock with another Peak Careers interview. This one is titled Using Mindfulness to Impact Our Wellbeing and That of Our Clients. And my guest today is actually me. And Sabrina Woods, a holistic career and life coach. Bob McIntosh is a career trainer, coach, and LinkedIn authority, and a good buddy of mine. Online buddy. We've almost met face to face.
Yeah, we almost did.
But he drove by, and
it wasn't my fault though. My daughter's.
Yeah. And anyways, he wanted to interview us, and I'm going to be turning this interview over to him, and we'll be chatting. But what we're going to explore today is, what is mindfulness? Why should we practice it? How do you do it? How do you share this with your clients and benefits and things like that? So, Bob, I'm going to turn this over to you, buddy.
Good. So what I'd like to do is, first of all, is introduce Sabrina. I didn't realize this is really interesting. I didn't realize that she's taught mindfulness in the Mideast. She's also taught mindfulness in London, and she does it, at universities on the East Coast. She has a master's in mindfulness, so she is definitely well versed in mindfulness, and I'm looking forward to learning more about mindfulness. On my end, I have some trouble with mindfulness. I don't feel that I am able to really focus in as well as I could. So I'm really looking forward to learning more about it from you two. You guys are experts on it. So, you want to take this away? Do you have anything more to add, Sabrina?
I'll just clarify. So I've done some different work in different parts of the world, but when it comes to mindfulness practices, my main work has been in the US, and the biggest piece is that I help my individual clients with their stress and use mindfulness.
Oh, yeah, right.
Practice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. I mean, I guess I could use it for stresses as well. So, so Sabrina, could you tell me, can you define mindfulness for me?
Sure. The definition that I actually use is called, I say it's moment-to-moment awareness of the present moment without judgment. And that's also the definition from the American Psychological Association, the APA. But a lot of times when I'm doing workshops about mindfulness and holistic practices, I just get the audience to share lots of words. What comes to mind? Because I think there's just so many different ways to define it. People might say, oh, I'm really present, or I'm aware, or I'm in this moment, or my mind is empty, or I feel spaciousness. There's all kinds of words that come to mind. Yeah.
I mean, is that the goal of mindfulness though? Is it to clear your mind? Is it you said empty? Is that the goal of mindfulness?
To me, emptiness is way too hard. Like if I can get like a millisecond of space, right. That's like awesome. So I look at mindfulness, first of all, really broadly. And let me just talk about some activities that might include mindfulness. So
sure.
Walking is a big one for me. Excuse me. So if you've just got like sort of one anchor or one point of focus as you're walking, maybe you're just paying attention to your breath while you walk, or paying attention to your feet, or even just like looking around and noticing color. We're a few months away still from spring, or a month away from spring. Right. One of my favorite activities for mindfulness in the spring is actually to see how many colors I can notice. Just notice colors.
That's interesting.
So it takes my brain away from like, okay, what are the millions of things I have to get done today? And instead I'm just noticing, what colors do I see? So it can be as simple as that, because an empty, no thinking brain feels almost impossible.
Oh, yeah.
One more thing I'll say is I'm not really good at sitting meditations. I'll do them occasionally, but I don't even do them daily. My walks are daily, and my mindfulness retreats are twice a year. I go into silence for a weekend.
Wow, that's interesting, because I sort of associate mindfulness with meditation, but it's interesting that you can practice mindfulness doing other things rather than meditating, in a room in one place. That's interesting.
So Sabrina had the official definition of mindfulness, which is absolutely, it makes sense, but my definition is more like getting control over your monkey brain
I like that.
I mean, monkey brain, we all have monkey brain in the sense that,
Right.
we are always jumping and we're analyzing. And well, people say you're multitasking. You can't do two things at once, but just like a computer can't do two things at once. It's binary, even a computer, but it's able to sort of jump around and collect data and pull information. Our brain does the same thing. And for me, mindfulness is a lot like what people call meditation, but for me, it is really just trying to grab all that craziness, the constantly changing and thinking and moving and just begin to sort of get control over that and try to focus on one thing.
So in other words, multitasking is not necessarily a good thing, as opposed to, when you're trying to become mindful.
I mean, it's as simple as, I mean, one of the techniques that I use is when I'm eating, just like Sabrina says, it's not about necessarily sitting and doing meditation, although that's fine.
Yeah.
How often do you actually sit, eat one bite at a time, think about it, put your fork down, slow down? And
no, not me.
And I'm saying, I'd be suggesting to you is that be present in that moment, And so even times like for me, I'm home alone, I'm having lunch, I'll actually take a bite and I'll stop and I'll eat it and just look out the window and just be there rather than have a book open or a rant magazine or a TV on. And so to me, that's mindfulness.
Cool. All right.
I'll just build on that real quick. This morning, I got my cup of coffee and the snow was coming down and I decided to move my chair. I sat in the living room. I was going to work on some workshop prep and I'm like, wait a minute, this could be just a moment to actually taste my coffee and just be really quiet and look out the window and watch the snow. I did that for like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
That gave me this like little break. It gave me this opening, gave me this sense of relaxation. And I think it also just helps me tap into more intuition and more like, well, where do I really want to put my energy in this moment? What do I really want to be doing? It just kind of brings me back home in a way.
I love the definition you two have provided on mindfulness. I really love it. So Jim, I got a question for you, and that is, how do you practice mindfulness?
Well, for me, it is things like just consciously thinking about what I'm doing at that time, like I'm eating, and it's not like I do every meal like that, but there are times I just kind of go, all right, crazy day, things are out of control, I got a million things to do. And that's the time when you want to slow down. When you have a million things to do and like, I'm so busy and my to-do list is so long. And that's a perfect time to go, I'm going to just have this coffee and watch the snowfall for 3 minutes. I'm going to just sit here and eat my breakfast and do that. But my routine in the morning is I get up, I read the paper online, and then I do some stretches. But then I do Qigong, which is, again, it's a chance to sort of focus my brain and it's also physical, right? I mean, it's just simple movements, a little bit like Tai Chi, I guess. But for me, I've got a couple people that I found online, and this Lee Holden, and then this other Mimi who does, she's got a couple different routines. And so I kind of combine them. Sometimes I'll watch the 20-minute and do it with them. Sometimes I'll just do it from memory, but I try to take that moment, 5 to 15, 20 minutes, just sort of have some movement, but also just to sort of feel like I'm in control of my life. And then the other thing I do is I then go, I'm often have breakfast at that point, but then I'll stop before I actually get going. And most mornings I typically journal for 5 minutes. And, it's not a lot. Sometimes it's longer than others. Sometimes it doesn't matter. It's a chance for pen in hand, brain to slow down. When you have to write something out, it forces you to think more.
Sure.
And then the other practice that I do is 2:30. I have an appointment that pops up in my calendar every day at 2:30. Says, calm meditation. So I have the Calm app. And I don't know, sometimes I'll do the Calm app. Sometimes I'll just, I've got a bunch of other downloads I have of meditation. So I spread it out. I like to start my day like that, but I really like the 2:30 in the afternoon because this is when most people are kind of crashing.
Sure.
And it's a great chance. And I have so much more energy when I get done with my meditation at 2:30. I usually take 20, 25 minutes. So those are all things that I do that I've just built into my day.
Now, I understand that sometimes you take a retreat. Is that a way that you can really engage in mindfulness? Can you tell me a little bit about that? I mean, I think you take a half a day retreat where you're in a room with nothing other than, yourself.
Yeah, I actually, my goal is a 1-day retreat once a month. And there's some months I don't make it, but that's the goal, once a month. I have a friend who lets me use her office in Waterville, and I leave the house like 8 o'clock, and I usually don't come back till 4:30.
Wow.
And
don't know if I could do that.
And and I turn the phone off. I don't go on. I'm not on LinkedIn. I'm not on any social media. Sometimes I'll be working on, I'm working on a book right now. And so like the last time I went, I did bring a computer. So it wasn't like totally tech free, but I did take a computer because I wanted to do some writing. But again, it was not to be answering emails, and I didn't turn the email on. So sometimes I'll actually have a computer, but that day is really for thinking, writing, journaling, meditate. I do some of my meditation tapes, go for a walk. I mean, but I get so much done on that day.
Wow. I don't know if I could do that. I really don't. What about
Practice,
you, Sabrina?
buddy, it's practice. You don't have to do a whole day retreat, but your brain, it's monkey brain. I feel so much better now that I've been doing this for a few years. Sure. And I'm not an expert. You introduce and say, well, I'm not an expert in this, but I do practice it.
So Sabrina, do you have anything to add to that?
I'm similar to Jim in that I have my own things that I'll do daily. Mine happens to
you told us, yeah.
And so that's often a walk after lunch, kind of resets my afternoon. And then, like I said, meditation retreats twice a year. But I thought it would be great if I said a little bit about what I coach my clients on. Sure. A lot of people are really busy. And so the point I love to get across, excuse me, is that it doesn't have to be a 20-minute sitting meditation.
Sure.
So sometimes it's literally, okay, my client might have a meeting and then another meeting and then another meeting in their work day. And so back to back to back, and can be really exhausting, and there's no time for breaks for the brain. Sure. So what if walking from that meeting to the next meeting, you just do it with a little bit of mindful presence. You just notice your breath during that walk. Or right before you leave for that next meeting, what if you take 3 deep breaths, but make them really long and juicy? So like long, deep inhale, hold for 4 counts, and then exhale for 4 counts.
I see. So, I mean,
60 seconds, you can have a little mini break where it just it resets that cortisol and that adrenaline that gets us amped up during the day, right? When we're anxious, and brings us back down. And my clients are under higher level of stress. Actually, everybody, and anyone that's a career coach, the people they were working with are under much higher stress than everyday population because they're anxious about their job search, or sometimes they're just, not knowing exactly how things are going to go. And so this kind of helps them reset and helps them better manage their process.
So Sabrina and Jim, do you teach your career practitioners, your clients, how to practice mindfulness so they can teach then the job seekers how to practice, or anyone who needs life coaching?
I mean, I've done a mindfulness presentation at conferences to career coaches and practitioners talking about the importance of it.
I see.
And Sabrina and I co-wrote an article on this topic for National Career Development that came out, December? Yeah. December, January.
I read it, yeah.
Yeah, and
Well,
know,
Jim,
it's
in
not
fact,
like,
that was what really prompted me to ask if I could interview you and Sabrina, is because I read that article and I
oh,
thought,
really?
wow, yeah, this is really interesting stuff. And, you know, sorry for the interruption. Go ahead.
Yeah. But, you know, for me, it's not like I'm having every client do this. I mean, it's like Sabrina said, you know, when you see a client that is pumped up, right? Who is got that stress level up, then I'll talk to them about taking that walk, making sure that, you know, I remember one guy who he'd been laid off on Friday, had no clue it was coming, and was meeting with me on Tuesday. I mean, he was a wreck, you know.
Yeah.
And really my goal in that first session was, you know, just to sort of bring him down a little bit. And then I talk to him about making sure he takes a walk every day.
Yep.
And the other thing I do for most of my clients, I recommend a career journal, or at least writing thoughts down in one place. And I think that practice of writing pen in hand is, I'm convinced it's much more powerful than working on a computer.
So for you, Jim, it's journaling, and for Sabrina, it's walking, and also for you, Jim, it's eating sometimes.
Oh, I eat every day.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you mindful every day though?
Yeah. Well, for me, it's walking as well. I mean, I pretty much walk. I walk most days. But it's for me, the journal, the qigong in the morning, and but just sometimes just taking that pause and going, I don't have to do something right now. I just don't do anything. We feel like we got to do all the time.
Sure.
And sometimes it's just a matter of stopping and slowing down. But I think that's what some clients in particular need, is they need to know that it's okay to go slow.
Sure. Where some people find that the best way to live their life is to always be active. Do you find that to be true? I mean, you know, always busy, always on their feet, never taking a time for rest. Is that healthy, do you think?
Oh, it's not healthy, but I mean, it's almost like a badge of honor, you know, being people, well, I'm so busy. And the next person, I'm even busier than that. I've got 10. And then the next person comes in, well, I'm even busier than that, you know, and it's kind of like, why? What have we lost? What have we lost in our society where we can't just go, I'm just going to chill?
Yeah. No, and sometimes I feel like I'm in a hurry to get nowhere. You know, it's just the art of being busy seems like you said, a badge of honor. It seems like you're really getting something accomplished. So,
I'll jump in. I'll jump in and I'll say, I was really upset when I did the Strengths Finder exercise and I found out I was maximizer. I was like, oh no. I just took that as that's a problem. So now
what does that mean, maximizer?
That means you like to you like to maximize people's opportunities, but I like to maximize every minute. Like, wait, I think I could fit in a trip to the grocery store between this appointment and that appointment. Ooh, if I hurry, that's not healthy, right? It can feel, I'm being really efficient. So I have to put the maximizer in check. And so one year, my New Year's resolution statement was simple. It was remember to pause.
Right.
So my attitude is our culture today is nonstop. We praise when people say, oh, I'm busy, like Jim was saying, and we've lost little moments of nothingness. So we used to get a little moment of nothingness when we were at the grocery store in the queue, in the line, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now you have one moment of nothingness, and what do? You whip out your phone and you fill that little tiny bit of opportunity for reflection. So I worry about our culture not having those little tiny mini moments of a break. And I think our brains are more effective when they have reflection time or just that downtime instead of constant input.
Sure. So speaking of the phone, do you ever leave your phone at home? Do you just leave it, at home so that you can go out and get some real quality time, mindfulness?
Well, when I'm 2 weekends a year, I have no phone all weekend. No talking, no phone at a group retreat, place called Pumpkin Hollow in the Berkshires, Massachusetts. And then I'm doing actually Sunday, March 2nd, I'm doing a stay-at-home retreat where I'm going to have phones off, all technology off and be in silence at home. And so that's just I don't have time for a full weekend retreat, but I was like, I'm going to do a 1-day reboot where I just.
Are you doing that alone, or are you doing it with friends?
I'm actually doing it with my husband. So
oh, okay.
He's come with me to some of my weekend retreats. So he's like game, because he recognizes the addiction to the phone too. We have conversations about it. We're not either, but we're like striving to recognize it and work on it.
Well, and I don't leave my phone home, but I don't answer my phone all the time. And I think I don't chase emails either. I'm kind of a 2, maybe 3 times a day, I'll go in and hammer away at the emails. And I try to every day get through them all at the end of the day. But I don't, I think part of it is using the technology we have, but controlling it,
Sure. Which a lot of people have a hard time doing. I mean, I see, personally, I see my kids glued to their phone, and sometimes I feel like I'm the same way. I always say that you should be on LinkedIn at least once a day, every a week. The LinkedIn app makes that possible. It makes it possible for people to not only use their desktop but also their phone to be on LinkedIn.
What people don't realize is that you're this constant going. They don't understand the power of reflection and the creativity that you get from it. You get this calmness, and you get actually more energy from taking this time and just being reflective and just slowing down. And there's a lot of creativity buried in there. There's a lot of intuition buried in there. And that people feel like if I'm doing more, then I'm going to, I'll get more stuff done. But the power of that reflection, once you begin to harness it, is amazing. I mean, I get some of my best thoughts and solutions to problems when I slow down.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree with that. They say you sometimes have your best ideas in the shower. Well, guess what? You've got warm water coming on you. You're relaxed. This is one of the reasons we get great ideas in the showers, because we're comfortable, relaxed, and in the moment. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As long as you don't bring your phone in.
Hey, now they're waterproof. So I know we're running out of time. Do any of you have anything more to add?
I'll just throw out, this doesn't have to be a really big deal. You can start super small. And you can say, you know what, 1 day a week, maybe I'll drink that cup of coffee without doing something else, or have that meal with just the meal. Or 1 day a week, I'm going to try going out for that walk. Or I'm going to try a 5-minute meditation, or 1 minute. 1 minute of deep breathing. So I just say start really small.
Maybe I could do that.
Yeah. Wait, Bob, let's work on you. What goal would you like to have? This is what I do with my clients. What goal would you like to have this week for your own practice to try and have a tiny bit more mindfulness? Is there something
I was really thinking about this, and I was thinking about in a workshop, for instance, just having the participants close their eyes for maybe just a minute and sort of go through this, meditation type exercise. But I don't feel that I'm skilled enough or knowledgeable enough in how to do that. So
don't try to do it for your clients. Just do it for you.
For myself. Oh yes.
Just before, before you go into a workshop, just take 30 seconds and do 3 deep breaths. And as Sabrina pointed out, take a deep breath, hold it for a count of 3 or 4, and then let it out slowly. I mean, it doesn't have to be long. My angle on this, though, is if you can build in a routine, even if it's 1 minute, even if you say 1 minute, 2 minutes, at a certain time of the day, the beginning or the end, you're going to stop and think and only focus on your breath. Even something small can be very, very powerful, but it helps, I think, if you find a routine.
Habit. Try being mindful while you brush your teeth. That's one I give to my clients. It's twice a day, hopefully, and it lasts about a minute or 2. So it's like, if I just am quiet and notice my teeth brushing rather than having my mind spinning, that's a start.
Yeah.
Now, do you notice that you're feeling better physically when you're mindful? not only.
I know we've got to wrap up. I'll just state really quickly that I feel like it has changed my life, that I'm not as scattered, that I'm calmer, and that I'm actually far more intuitive and more helpful in the world because of my mindfulness practices that I use.
Sure. And you feel that the job seekers could accomplish that as well, and perhaps do better in their job search.
Oh yeah, I totally do. I mean,
I think that's a whole new topic, but I think it's something we should consider when we are coaching our clients.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of. I know I feel better when I do it, and I notice when I don't take the time. I know I can feel it amping up. So.
Right.
Well, listen, Bob, thank you so much for interviewing Sabrina and I.
This has been so fun. This is
great.
Really something I love doing. Yeah, absolutely.
Really good.
If you don't know, I'm the principal of Peak Careers Consulting. I've offered the Facilitating Career Development class since 2001. I've got a class once. I teach one class October to March and another course April to August. I have online discussion-based seminars for career practitioners, and actually Bob McIntosh is teaching the LinkedIn.
I was wondering if you were going to bring that up.
Oh yeah, yeah, and he's teaching this class for me right now as we're in week 3. Started week 3, I think.
Absolutely.
And I also do.
Maybe I'll have my students watch this Zoom session.
There you go. I also do face-to-face workshops for career professionals, practitioners, and I have a handful of individual career coaching clients. If you're a practitioner or a career counselor, person who delivers career services, feel free to sign up for my top 10 tips working with an undecided person at my website. And you can connect with me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, and Instagram. Used to be Google+, but that doesn't exist anymore. So anyways, thank you both, Sabrina and Bob. And
thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks so much. Great time.